You feel it before anyone else notices. A sudden wave of heat climbs your neck. Your cheeks begin to burn. You cannot stop it. You cannot hide it. Within seconds, everyone around you knows something has changed. You might have made a mistake. You might have told a lie. You might have received a compliment. Or maybe someone simply looked at you for a second too long. Blushing is one of the strangest things the human body does. No other known animal does it. Dogs feel guilt. Chimpanzees feel embarrassment. Elephants mourn their dead. But only humans broadcast their emotions through the skin of their faces. Why? It seems like a terrible survival strategy. If your body announces fear, shame, or attraction to everyone nearby, wouldn't that make you weaker? Yet blushing has survived for hundreds of thousands of years. That means evolution never removed it. In fact, it may have protected it. The mystery fascinated one of history's greatest scientists. In 1872, Charles Darwin published The Expression of the Emotions in Man and Animals. He called blushing the most peculiar and the most human of all expressions. Even after decades studying evolution, Darwin admitted he struggled to explain it. More than 150 years later, scientists are still uncovering the answer. And it begins with a tiny network of nerves buried beneath your skin. Whenever you experience intense social attention, your brain reacts long before you think consciously. A region called the amygdala constantly scans for emotional importance. It is not looking for lions anymore. It is looking for people. A raised eyebrow, a laugh, a stare, a moment of silence. If the brain decides your social status might be changing, it activates part of your autonomic nervous system. Tiny blood vessels in your face suddenly widen. Blood rushes toward your cheeks. Your skin becomes warmer, then red. You never choose this. The decision happens automatically. In many cases, it happens before you even understand why. But here's the strange part. The purpose is not physical survival. It is social survival. Why would evolution care so much about what other people think? Because humans are different from almost every other species on Earth. For most of our history, living alone meant dying alone. Around 300,000 years ago, our ancestors depended on small groups. Food was shared. Children were raised together. Danger was faced together. Being rejected from your community could become a death sentence within days. That changed everything. Natural selection no longer rewarded only strength. It rewarded cooperation, generosity, trust, reputation. If your group believed you were selfish or dishonest, your chances of survival dropped dramatically. So evolution faced an unusual challenge. How do you prove your intentions? Words can lie. Faces can pretend. But involuntary signals are much harder to fake. Blushing became one of those signals. Psychologist Ray Crozier spent decades studying embarrassment and blushing. His research suggests that blushing functions as an honest, social apology. It communicates something important without speaking. It says, I recognize what happened. It says, I care what you think. It says, I still want to belong. That message changes how other people judge us. In experiments, people often view someone who blushes after making a mistake as more trustworthy than someone who remains completely calm. That sounds backwards. Wouldn't confidence be more impressive? Not always. Imagine someone spills coffee on an important document. One person blushes, apologizes, and looks embarrassed. The other smiles without emotion. Which one seems more sincere? Most people choose the first. Embarrassment signals that social rules matter. It tells others you understand the cost of your mistake. Ironically, the thing you desperately wish to hide can make people trust you more. Could your greatest social weakness actually be one of your greatest strengths? Researchers continue to explore that possibility. Blushing also reveals something deeper. Humans possess an extraordinary ability called self-awareness. You are not only aware of yourself, you are aware that other people are aware of you. Psychologists sometimes call this second-order thinking. It allows you to imagine another person's thoughts about your own behavior. That ability transformed human civilization. It made teaching possible. It made storytelling possible. It made law, religion, reputation, and culture possible. but it also created anxiety. You can replay conversations that happened years ago. You can cringe over a sentence nobody else remembers. You can imagine hundreds of judgments that never actually occurred. Your brain evolved to monitor your place inside a group. Sometimes it monitors too much. This is especially visible during adolescence. Teenagers blush more frequently than adults. Their brains become highly sensitive to social evaluation. Brain imaging studies show stronger responses in regions linked to emotional processing and social attention during these years. From an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. Adolescence is when humans begin establishing long-term relationships outside their immediate family. Acceptance becomes incredibly valuable. Every interaction feels larger than life. For many teenagers, a single awkward moment feels unforgettable. Their brains are treating social mistakes as survival information. Most adults eventually learn something important. Other people are thinking about us far less than we imagine. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect. In famous experiments by Thomas Gilovich and his colleagues, participants believed everyone noticed embarrassing clothing far more often than observers actually did. Our minds exaggerate how closely we are being watched. But blushing continues anyway. It is older than modern logic. It belongs to instincts shaped over countless generations. Even culture cannot erase it. People blush in every known society. The situations vary. The emotion remains. Compliments, mistakes, unexpected attention, romantic attraction, public speaking. The trigger changes. The biology stays remarkably similar. There is another twist. Some researchers believe blushing may have helped humans build larger communities. Imagine living among dozens of unrelated individuals. Trust becomes difficult. You cannot know everyone's history. You cannot investigate every claim. Instead, you rely on signals. Facial expressions, tone of voice, eye contact, and sometimes blushing. These small emotional cues reduce uncertainty. They help strangers become neighbors. Neighbors become allies. Allies become civilizations. Without reliable social signals, cooperation becomes fragile. Without cooperation, cities never rise. Science never advances. History never unfolds the way it did. That tiny rush of blood beneath your skin may seem insignificant, but millions of moments like it quietly shaped humanity. There is another irony hiding inside this story. The people who blush the easiest often believe something is wrong with them. They avoid attention. They fear public speaking. They replay embarrassing memories long after everyone else has forgotten them. Yet those same people may simply possess an especially sensitive social compass. Their brains care deeply about connection, sometimes too deeply. Modern life complicates this ancient system. Your ancestors lived among perhaps 100 familiar faces. Now a single photograph can reach millions of strangers within minutes. One mistake can spread across the internet forever. The same biological machinery that evolved for tiny tribes now faces an audience larger than any human brain evolved to understand. No wonder embarrassment sometimes feels overwhelming. Your nervous system is solving yesterday's problems inside tomorrow's world. Still, blushing refuses to disappear. It remains woven into the architecture of being human. It cannot be trained away completely. It cannot be switched off by logic alone, because it was never designed to protect your pride. It was designed to protect your place among other people. The next time your face turns red, pause before wishing it away. Your body is performing an ancient ritual. It is telling others that relationships matter, that honesty matters, that belonging matters. Every blush is a silent conversation between evolution and society, a reminder that humans survived not because we were the strongest animals, not because we were the fastest, not because we had the sharpest teeth. We survived because we learned to trust one another. And sometimes trust begins with a face that cannot hide the truth.